Hi you guys, it's Ruby from Oofy Scraps, and we are back again to work on my December daily album from 2022. And today we're working on stories 17, 18, and 19. So these pages come together pretty quickly, starting with 17 and 18, which are back-to-back pages using a foundation that I set up prior to December. And I am just going through right now and putting in a bunch of double-sided adhesive so that I can adhere all my little 2x2 square photos to this little window page that I set up. I'm pretty sure I made a video on putting these together. I will link that up in the cards for you guys so you can see how I put together these foundation pages. But because I did that upfront work, they're going to be really easy to put together now that I have the photos and stories. So this first page, you're seeing me do all of that work of putting the adhesive down, but I end up cutting pretty much all the rest of it out of the video. I just wanted you guys to get an idea of what I was doing so you would be able to like figure out what was going on, but I don't make you watch all of that painstaking labor. So you can see the front of the image, or the front of the page, has these cute little frames, and I cut out little windows so that my photos could be kind of like behind the frames, and I also included some vellum, some pattern paper, and some transparent elements. So it gave just some interest. So now I'm just going to go ahead. I figured out the order I want of my photos, and I'm just going to arrange them accordingly. So I'm making sure that they're straight and everything like that, and just adhering them right on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all the photos. So story 17 is all about my dog Hazel and her Christmas bandanas, or holiday bandanas. She has a Hanukkah one as well. So she is a good sport. She lets me put on all kinds of funny stuff on her. She doesn't have reindeer ears on in any of these pictures, but I do have reindeer like antler headband that she'll wear sometimes. It's kind of hilarious. But I have been collecting her holiday bandanas for a couple of years, and I just wanted to have them all documented in one place, and that is what this little story is all about. So you can see that both this page and the following page are pretty blank in terms of like the negative space. I do off camera put titles on both of them, but you won't see that in this video. So the little gold confetti window, I made that again in the process video of putting the actual page together prior to this December daily season, but I'm going to put my number 17 there, and I'm using this red vinyl 17 that I actually created on Canva and cut out on my Cricut. It's super simple, just like the number 17 in red, and it's a circle, so like I can use the numbers that I actually end up using, which are the 1 and the 7, or I can use the red circle with the negative space number. So I went with the actual numbers, not the negative space circle, and that's pretty much it for the story for 17. Again, this foundation that I created makes the page come together super, super quickly, so it worked out really well. And then story 18 is the same exact concept but flipped, and I did like the red version, which I liked that I did a green for the Hazel bandana ones, and then the red. I think they work together because they're the same page, but the high contrast of color difference makes them feel like they're their own, and it's also just kind of fun. So this is all about going ice skating with my friends. So Steven and my friend Olivia and her boyfriend Mike, we all went ice skating together, which is my favorite. I love going ice skating. If you know me, you know that I'm a big roller skating girl, and ice skating is like the winter version of that. So we had a lot of fun. We went to the ice skating rink. It wasn't the most spectacular ice skating rink. I've been to much more festive ones, but this is the biggest and least crowded one by us, so it was a lot of fun. We all got our little holiday-ish outfits on. I think I was wearing I have these like knee-high fuzzy socks that have Santas on the front of them, and I think I was wearing those with my big red sweatshirt and my beanie. It was really fun. I could ice skate for hours. I always find that I'm the one who could go the longest, and everyone else is like, all right, we're ready to be done. And I'm like, okay, I guess we can leave. But it's just a bunch of fun little photos. And this worked out really well for this page because the small nature of the spots for the photos don't allow for like really highlighting a large photo. It's better for less significant photos. And these are definitely like quick phone photos from ice skating. So it didn't need to be a huge photo. Worked out really well. And again, I'm picking out my number. I went through a couple of different options, and this time I opted for the same set of numbers that I created, but this time I'm using these circle negative space one, and I'm even grabbing the insides of the 8 to include because I think that helps make sure that it was clear that it was an 8 and not something else with those little dots included. It was a small touch, but I definitely think it made a difference. And now I'm going to put the photos or pages back to back. So I'm just using a thicker, I think it's a 1/2 inch score tape, and I'm going to go across all areas that are not covered by transparencies, basically, so those 2 transparent spots. And I didn't make you guys watch all that again, but I peeled it all off, and now I'm going to line up my papers or my pages and cut that, stick it together, and then I will cut off any excess pieces, as there's always a little bit of overhang that needs to be taken care of. No matter how careful I measure, it always seems like there's something I can trim off. So after I stick these together, I will do that. And that's pretty much it for this side of the page. I might do my journaling though. So I have this one little block on this side, and I have another paper block on the other side. This side, it's that white and gray buffalo print or buffalo check or whatever it's called. It's basically like gingham. So I think I put it, oh yeah, so you'll see. I do a date stamp here, and I do a tiny bit of journaling just about ice skating. Obviously it's a 2x2 square, so it's not a ton of space, but I don't have a lot to say about this, just that I love to go ice skating, and it was fun to go with friends. Feels like Christmassy time, holiday time. So that worked out really well. And actually this photo or this story did take place on December 18th, which is not usually how my December daily works out, that my story is the same day as the story took place. So like story number 18 normally isn't on the 18th, but for this story it happens to be, which is kind of fun. I mean, in a perfect world it'd be cool if that was how it always worked out, but the way that I do my December daily is a lot more open-ended and loose. It doesn't have to be exact like that. It just makes it easier for me to actually get the album together. So I'm doing my little journaling spot, and then I think we move on to the next story shortly after this. And again, because story 17 and 18 were so quick, I wanted to put those together, and then that was still only like 7 minutes of video once I sped it up and cut out all the extra stuff. So I decided to include story 19 as well in this video because it just so happened that it was also a really quick one. So I'm basing this page all around this Remember paper that was from the Ali Edwards collection, and I wanted to do something that was like obviously a memory type story. And we have these little mugs on the left. You'll see that tiny little photo, and those are from my childhood. I grew up north of Chicago in Illinois, and a lot of the winter time there was about snow. Obviously I live Southern California now, it's not snowing here. So those little mugs, they're teeny tiny now, but when I was a kid, my mom used to always fill them up with hot chocolate for us. And I remember on snow days when school would be canceled, we would always come inside, and my mom would make us hot cocoa with those little mugs and the whipped cream and the mini marshmallows, and it was just the best. So I bumped into those in the cabinet at some point at the end of 2022, and I was like, I need to make this a story in my December daily album. So we didn't actually put hot chocolate in them, I don't think. Maybe we did. I don't remember. That's me, my hand on the left and my cousin's hand on the right, I think. Or maybe vice versa. It's her hand on the left. But we're just holding them over the pool. And this was actually taken on Christmas, which is funny because it's just the juxtaposition of how different my Christmases look now than they did when I was younger, or my winters, my Decembers, whatever you want to call it. Because it's San Diego, it's sunny, it was probably warm out on Christmas, and we're sitting outside by the pool, and yeah, but it's just reminiscing on that childhood memory, which I think is a cool thing to include if you can. So I was sitting there blabbing to you all. I did a lot of already what I do on this page. So the top right corner, I took another one of those frames from Ali Edwards 2021 December Daily Collection. They're the plastic frames. This is the Polaroid sized one. I think it's like a 4x4 frame. The whole frame is 4x4. And I just use a little piece of pattern paper from, I don't know what collection, not Ali Edwards. Maybe Busy Sidewalks or something. I don't know. It was sort of a neutral paper. And I actually printed my journaling right onto the paper, which is a fun technique. It's pretty easy to do, and it really looks clean and crisp. So I already did all that, adhered it down, and that's what's going to be on the top right. And then the bottom left, which is where the other kind of space is, I'm going to put the photo down, and I go ahead and do some really light embellishing. This page ends up being very simple, which I don't know if I love how simple it is, but I'm trying to let myself, let it be. A little bit of breathing room for the eye, I guess. This paper is really pretty. It just doesn't allow for that much room to put stuff on. So it's just something to think about. But it was too perfect to use the remember for this story, so I just made it work. So now I'm just going through a bunch of my little embellishments. I have some stickers, some puffies, a couple of tabs, and just some things to add some light embellishing because I couldn't leave it too simple. So that green sticker I stuck down says my favorite Christmas memory. Again, a good use of that memory type stuff. I don't typically tell too many memory stories, but this was one, so I wanted to use all the stuff that worked for it here so I could get some use out of it. And then I'm pulling out those gold puffy phrases. I think just some of the like ephemera-y bits of it, like the stars and the foliage. And then I picked out one of those tab stickers again from Ali Edwards that I'm obsessed with. This one says happy, and I stuck that down, and below it, which I didn't talk about, I put one of those clear stickers, and it says Christmas moments, because this was taken on Christmas, even though this is story 19. So the little tab makes it read happy Christmas moments, which I think is cute. And then I will stick that down with some double-sided tape and continue on with a tiny bit more embellishing before I call this story complete. So this is kind of out of character for me, how quick these stories were. And I mean, the other ones was because I did a lot of the work beforehand, but normally I'm kind of a maximalist and I like do all the things and I put the work in, but it's nice to have a little bit of simple pages, especially in an album like this where I do put a ton of time and make a lot of ornate pages. So like I said, I'm just sprinkling a few little embellishments around from those gold stickers. I love these. I think that they're crepe paper maybe. I'm not super sure. They're really pretty though. And I've used them before. I used them in my last album and I use them a couple times throughout this album. I think the gold looks particularly good on this dark green background paper. So the only thing I think I do left on this page is put my number, and of course, sticking to the gold puffy theme, I'm using those gold puffy numbers from Ali Edwards. They're super cute, and I just put my little number 19. And that is pretty much it for this super simple story. I hope you guys enjoyed this roundup, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.